You ever wonder why some songs just get stuck? Like they're everywhere? Today we are pulling back the curtain and looking at this secret formula that can turn a simple tune into a massive global hit. Let's dive in.
You know that feeling, right? You hear a song just one time, maybe on the radio or in a store, and bam, it's suddenly living in your brain, rent-free, playing on a loop for the rest of the day. So what is going on there?
Well, that whole thing, that song playing over and over in your head, it actually has a name. Let's talk about what an earworm is and why it even happens.
Yep, it's called an earworm. Some scientists even call it a cognitive itch. It's like this little itch in your brain that you can only scratch by playing that piece of music again in your head. And it's usually not the whole song, right? It's just that one short, super catchy part.
So, what's the recipe for one of these earworms? Well, it's kind of specific. You usually need a simple melody that repeats a lot, a pretty fast beat, and maybe a couple of little unexpected musical twists that catch your brain off guard. And get this, you're actually more likely to get one when you're feeling a bit stressed out or even just bored.
Okay, so let's start with the absolute foundation of any catchy song, the melody. You know, that's the part you hum, the part that actually gets stuck.
Now, you might think the secret is some super complex, genius-level musical idea, but it's the exact opposite. The most famous, unforgettable melodies are almost always incredibly simple. So what does this simple blueprint even look like? Well, for starters, it often uses just a handful of different notes. It moves in small, easy-to-predict steps instead of making huge jumps all over the place. And it stays in a comfortable range so pretty much anyone can sing along. Basically, it's all about making it super easy for your brain to grab onto and remember. And that one part of the melody that's the catchiest of all, that has its own name, the hook. And it's named that for a reason. Just like a fish hook, its entire job is to grab your ear and not let go. It's the musical idea you'll remember long after the song is over. Now, to really get how melodies work, you gotta understand something called intervals. It sounds technical, but it's simple. An interval is just the distance or the jump between two notes. Songwriters are super strategic about this. Small intervals, where the notes are close together, feel smooth and pleasant. But a big jump? That creates a burst of excitement, and they usually save that for the most important part of the song.
Okay, so we've got our simple, catchy melody. But that's not enough to make a hit song, right? You need something else. You need that beat that makes you want to tap your foot or nod your head.
Honestly, the best way to think about rhythm is as the song's heartbeat. It's the pulse. It provides all the energy and that forward motion that just pulls the whole song along.
Songwriters have this really cool trick up their sleeve called syncopation. So instead of having every note land perfectly on the main beat, like a steady 1, 2, 3, 4, they'll intentionally place some notes just a little bit off the beat. This creates a little surprise for your brain, and it makes the whole rhythm feel way more energetic and, fun.
All right, so we've got melody and we've got rhythm. But the most powerful, most important tool a songwriter has is something way simpler. It's repetition.
And when it comes to repetition in a song, the king is absolutely the chorus. Think of it as the main event. This is where you put the catchiest melody, the most important lyrics, the biggest energy. The entire job of the chorus is to be so memorable you can't forget it.
So what makes the chorus pop so much? It's all about contrast. See, the verse is where the story unfolds, and it's often a little quieter, maybe in a lower vocal range, and then, bam, the chorus hits. It delivers that main message, the volume shoots up, and often the singer's voice goes higher too. That big shift is what makes hearing the chorus so satisfying.
So how many times do you need to hear that amazing chorus for it to really get stuck in your brain? Well, in most hit songs, the magic number is somewhere between 3 and 4. They'll repeat that main section 3 or 4 times to make absolutely sure you won't forget it. And why does this work so well? It's because our brains are basically pattern-finding experts. We just love familiarity and being able to predict what's coming next. So when we hear that chorus come around again, our brain goes, hey, I know this part. And it gives us this little rush of satisfaction. It just feels good.
Okay, so a great melody and a killer chorus are absolutely key. But to get a true hit song, you need that final layer of polish. This is where music producers come in and work their magic to take a good song and make it a great one.
So here's what they do. They make sure every single word and syllable in the lyrics fits perfectly with the rhythm. They'll pick the absolute perfect instrument to play that main hook. Then they work on the volume levels and use all sorts of technology to make the whole thing sound flawless.
One of their biggest tools is something called dynamics. That's really just a fancy word for the changes in volume during the song. Making those verses quiet so that the chorus can feel extra loud, that's what creates excitement. It keeps the song interesting and keeps you listening.
And a huge piece of modern music production is something called compression. It's a bit technical, but what it does is it basically evens out all the volume levels. It makes the quiet parts a little louder and the loud parts a little quieter. This way, that main melody is always perfectly clear and easy to hear, whether you're listening on giant concert speakers or just tiny little earbuds.
So we've looked at melody, rhythm, repetition, and production. Let's put all those pieces together and talk about the real science behind why our brains are just so wired to love hit songs.
So, why are we so hooked? Well, it really comes down to a few things. Like we said, our brains are just built to love the predictable patterns that repetition gives us. But more than that, music is one of the most powerful things for triggering deep emotions and unlocking old memories. And maybe most importantly, a great melody, that's a universal language. It can connect people all over the world, no matter what language they speak.
So, next time you put on your favorite song, I want you to really listen. Now that you know the formula, can you hear it? Can you spot that simple melody, the catchy syncopated beat, that huge, powerful chorus? Now you know the secret. So, what is it that makes your favorite song a hit?